Having competitors can be your biggest nightmare or best gift if you know how to differentiate yourself. In this episode, you will learn how to stand out and crush competitors instead of being crushed by. What do you need to know, do, and be to be different? Welcome to Top Rated Gym, guys, the podcast that helps ambitious gym owners build profitable and sustainable fitness businesses. I'm your host, Andres Vujicic, and with every episode, we deliver actionable insights, expert advices, and success stories to help you grow your membership, streamline your operations, and achieve financial stability, even if you struggled with marketing challenges, operational overwhelm, or financial limitations in the past. Today, we have Ben Ludwig, a renowned leadership, sales, and strategy expert with over a decade of experience in the fitness industry. As the president of D1 Training 45 Sport Division, Ben has led global training on fitness sales, marketing, and operation across not 1, not 10, not 50, but more than 60 countries. He also authored the best-selling book, Real Talk with Real Business Pros. With his extensive background in fitness business management and his passion for growth, Ben is here to share his insights and expertise with us today. Regular contributor to multiple fitness business magazines include Fitness Business Insider Magazine, Club Solutions, Club Industry, PFP Magazine, Gym Owners Monthly, and more. Oh my God, Ben, I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Andre, couldn't be more excited to be here. Man, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So listen, I'm Bernie. Last time we talked, you might have inspired me so much. You're a jam, man. And I want our audience to get a piece of that as well. So why don't we talk about really this world of noise that's happening out there, right? For every person who's looking for the gym, they have 40 solutions, 40 places. How do you stand out? Where do we start?
Yeah, Andre, I'm working on 2 decades in the fitness industry now, so I'm getting old.
That's right.
I keep my hair short so you can't see all my grays, right? But I've been around the gym business for a very long time. And even early on in my career, I was in a lot of entrepreneurial settings. And so because of that, I was able to experience personally a lot of what's out there. And it sounds so cliche and so straightforward. But to be honest, Andre, what's out there is there's a lot of we're better, we're bigger, we've got the best equipment, we've got the best trainers, we've got the best staff, we get people the best results. And that's what everybody talks about is you have to niche down as much as possible and make sure that people know that you're talking specifically to them. And I do believe that there's some truth to that, but I also believe that people buy who you are. And so what I have found is myself personally, and also the brand that I want to connect myself with. And what I love about D1 Training is we really make sure that the customer knows who we are as a brand, as staff, and as people. And I think what we'll dig into today and what I'd like to unpack is how do you do that? And I believe that we've done a really great job of that.
Wow. Because one thing that you said here, and I hope that people get it, it's not only making it on paper, differentiation, or in the part of the ad or campaign, but communicating that, making sure we really communicate, that customers knows who we really are from every angle of that. But I should ask you this question first. Give me a little bit intro story, like where your passion for differentiation come from, like a little bit of history of your background, if you don't mind. Sure, I know you have so much in it, but let's try to squeeze it in a couple minutes.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'll make it as brief as I can. But over the years, Andre, as I said, I spent a lot of time, probably more than most, really in the weeds of the business. I was in sales positions and management positions where I was hands-on, selling right alongside my managers and my teammates and my trainers and showing them how to be able to sell PT and upsell and re-sign and go out in the community and get leads and establish networking connections. And so over the years, I've been able to really learn how to communicate well. And so that was one of the things that really helped me start to understand people on a different level. And so in that, I started realizing that there are people out there that want something more. Your customers want something more. And there's also employees that want something more. One story, really funny story that I got for you is one day we were opening up a brand new gym down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. and I needed to build a staff and I needed to find out what was out there. And I went to one of the competition's locations and I got a tour by someone that did a really great job. He got to know me super well. He really figured out my goals and customized the tour to me. And I felt like he was just really personable. And this was a gym to where they just pull out a sheet of paper and kind of wrote down all the different options whenever we got to the sales pitch. Well, Andre, I kid you not, I flipped over the sheet of paper and presented my compensation plan to him. And the guy ended up coming and working for me at my gym. And I'm telling you this story for two reasons. Number one, because it's crazy. Like, I wouldn't recommend that. But I felt like we had some
But it worked.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, I felt like we had good rapport. I liked the guy. He liked me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling this story, Andre, because that was one of the moments in my life that I realized this guy wanted something more. And he didn't come because I was offering him more money. That wasn't it at all. It was because he felt disconnected from his employer. And I knew that I had something that he didn't have. I was going to give him everything I had. I was going to connect with him. I was going to teach him how to run the business. I was going to help him grow. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to connect to somebody and something. And our customers are no different. Our customers want to connect to the brand. Now more than ever, look across all industries. There's all different kinds of companies that are looking to connect to social awareness and all these different things because they know that their customers want to be connected to something more meaningful than just the exchange of products and services for money. And so that's really, over the years, those are the things that have made me realize. That's just one example of so many things that have just solidified and helped me understand what it means to differentiate myself and my brand.
So, perfect example. You said felt really personal.
Yep.
You can teach that, you can learn it, you can be born with it, but his agenda was not matching with this outcome that you felt, I want people like this in my company. Let me make action now. You came with the outcome that you didn't even anticipate it, but it happens like because you felt connection. Right. And that's differentiation.
Exactly.
Everybody can flip the pages, presentation, read instructions, and execute things. But that passion that you feel like, oh, I feel like I belong. I feel like I know this guy. I feel like this guy cares.
Yeah.
He's really in it for me, for results, for the outcome, and I want him on my team. And now I would describe this as somebody who's A player. Players look for A players. So if you want to differentiate yourself, it's not about just the message that you put on a flyer or sign on the door. It's what you do on a daily basis. It's like you know what I like what Steve Jobs said? Our brand is like a credit system. Every time you do something amazing for the client, you deposit.
That's right.
Every time you hurt the client by wrong experiences, by missing on expectations, you withdraw from that credit. It's like a banking system.
It's true. And
it starts with every way. Now we touch the point of personal, of that customer experience. And what did you find? You're good in recognizing that and acting on it. But how do you structure that in all locations? You cannot call on yourself in every location that you guys are in D1 and you are leading that brand. You are led by example. How do you cross-pollinate it? How do you standardize what you just explained, that story, into every location?
Yeah, I think you've already given the first answer right there, Andre, when you talked about what it means to A players looking for A players is you've got to build a team that have the same mission, vision, and values as you. One of my personal ways that I look at life is I want to be able to leave the fitness industry better than I found it. That's my big goal. And there's a lot of different ways that I'm going to accomplish that, but that's my vision as far as what I'm doing in the fitness industry is I want to be able to, at the end of my life, look back and go, the fitness industry is different because of what I was able to accomplish. Not me personally, but the impact that I was able to have on other people. And that's why I love leadership, is because leadership allows me to be able to build a team around me that can do things that I would never be able to do because they're better than me, because they have different skill sets and values that they just really thrive in, or maybe that's what they want to do. And so that's number one, is building that A+ team based on your mission and your vision. This is one of the things that I love about the franchise business. And one of the things I love about D1 is you want to very clearly have laid out for the entirety of your organization as to what those mission, vision, and values are, and make sure that they believe in that. Matter of fact, Andre, with D1, we're going to get into the weeds on this a little more here in a bit, but one of the things that D1 does is if you walk into a D1 location, you're going to see words all around on the walls of our locations. And those are what we call D1 character words. They're there for two reasons. They're there to hold the staff accountable, to make sure that they know who they should be. And they're there to make sure that our customers know what we are going to do for them as to how we're going to help their lives become
Public
better.
promise.
This is so much more than you coming on and jumping on a treadmill and pushing start. This is you becoming a more determined person in the future. This is you taking personal responsibility for your fitness and for your future.
It's reminder, accountability, responsibility for everyone.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Is D1 born with that, or you guys figured it out along the way?
Well, I will say this, Andre, it was definitely something that was figured out along the way, but it starts with our founder. Will Bartholomew, the one that founded this business, he has been a huge impact on me personally and how I view leadership, how I view team, how I view franchising. And I've been able to spend a lot of time with him here recently. And I will tell you, he practices what he preaches and he believes what he says. And so as the founder of this company, he's one of the people that I know has that internally in him and has tried to find ways to be able to develop a system to make sure that it continues on beyond him. And so I think it was within him, but he's found ways to do exactly what we just talked about, build a team of A players and make sure that it is extended across all of the staff.
As well as you describe him as a credible person, I believe he is also very fortunate to have you on the team because you're a voice of that brand that speaks incredible value. And when you said about vision, mission, value, and a lot of times I heard people talk about it. It's like, oh, this is our mission and vision, and this is what we strive for, and this is our culture. But unless you communicate it 7 times, they says you need to tell somebody 7 times before they hear it first time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not part of the onboarding procedures. You hear it once. It's something we got to preach and preach and talk and talk.
Right.
It's consistently part of reinforcing the message. I mean, how long are you with the brand? For a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And then you still spend recently a lot of time with the founder.
Yeah.
He could say, I taught you everything long time ago. Go. But no, he does it again and again. He consistently reinforced the message, his spirit, his energy, his source. And I'm talking not about you guys. I'm talking to everybody who's listening about this podcast. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, how you expect everybody to follow? Because there's so much noise out there, so much distractions, so many people, other people are pulling you out of your brand. There are people now who wants your player into their company, who wants your best staff out of D1, and they want to recruit it in your competitor's brand. The only reason why they're not switching is because of your culture, your values that's consistently reinforced,
100%.
Practiced, preached, right?
That's it. Andre, I'd love to dig into that a little bit. So,
Please.
So our business, D1 Training, the franchisor, and what we coach the franchisee model within our network, we operate under the entrepreneurial operating system, which starts with mission, vision, and values. It digs into how you hold people accountable, how you make sure that they're accomplishing their goals, you're accomplishing your goals. So I'm actually in the process, all my staff, we're doing our quarterly reviews and then our fourth quarter planning. And in these meetings, here's where this becomes so useful, Andre, is when you think about the mission, vision, and values and constantly talking about that. I joke about that all the time. As the president of 45 Sports, I just call myself the chief reminding officer, right? But in these meetings, in the quarterly meetings, when you have people that have that same mission, vision, and values, well, you don't have to start pulling KPIs away from personal wins. It's not like personal check-in and then, now let's talk about the business. When you have the same mission, vision, and values as your team, those two become one, because the success of your business also allows me to be able to tie in where you're wanting to go. And so now the mission, vision, and values, that reminder simply becomes part of our touch base, because we're all rowing in the same direction. We're trying to go the same way. We're trying to create the same success. You're learning and going where you want to go because the business is going where we want it to go. And so everybody wins, and it makes it so much easier to create that momentum.
Wow. And I remember your values are like, be a team player, have passion for our work, find a way, make a smart play, have D1 character.
Oh, man, you need to come on a D1. You know them all.
And that's the D1 character. Like, you are doing what you're preaching. It becomes DNA of the business. And what I
Exactly.
like about particular for everybody who is not familiar, it's like operating system for running a businesses. It's a structure that really makes foundation for every area of the business, from the growth, from the people to the sales to vision. It's like everything. But how I describe it is before we start implementing it as well in Referrizer, we were all over the place. We're like a
Mm,
bunch of
yeah.
fishes running in so many directions,
Right.
and it aligns you. EOS aligns every arrow towards same goal, same outcome. And those who don't align, they either change direction or they go out.
That's it.
Right? They either feel like, oh my God, somebody told me one thing, especially about culture. When you implement culture, it's like turning on the light in the room. Everything becomes visible. You know what you stand for. You said be a team player. If you're not a team player, it's very quickly recognized. Or you
Yes.
check off the value, GWC and cultural value evaluations, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is it says when you turn on the light, there's two actions happening, either cockroaches or puppies.
Mm,
Cockroaches are afraid of the light and they run away. Puppies, when you turn on the light, they come to you.
that's it.
So it's full alignment. It's kind
Love
of
it.
black and white. And oh my God, when did you guys start with EOS? Like that's such, I'm so glad that I hear that. And now it makes sense.
Yeah. No, the video ads are something that we've recently really leaned into. So we operate with a company called Gym Profit Solutions, and Gym Profit
Mm.
Solutions does a lot of the marketing, well, for all of our locations. And for our locations, that's really what we've leaned into. Is they're a great partner for us. They match our vision, and values. Which again, I know we didn't talk about this specifically, but we even hold our vendors accountable to mission, vision, and values when it comes to who we are and who we want to grow with. Because if that aligns, then we're going to continue
Yes.
to be strategically aligned as we grow. If it's not, then we're going to veer
Mm.
as we both grow. And it's only going to become a harder relationship. And so, them as a vendor, they align with what our values are. And part of what we ask them to do is have passion for their work, which their team is very passionate. We ask them to be a team player. There are times that we ask them to beta test some things for us and, hey, this is what we need. Can you make it happen? They do it for us, and they make a lot of smart plays. They test and they send us things like, hey, we need to try this because we're seeing this work in our
Mm.
tests. Let's do this for your company.
I
And
love
so
it.
they've been a wonderful partner in, especially when it comes to these sort of things, like what sort of video ads are we going to be presenting to the population?
Hmm. And here's my point. I always tell my clients as well the same. Says, let's forget that this is even client vendor relationship. Let's remove the labels. Let's
Yeah.
pretend that we are one company merged. Either same investors bought both companies, make it one. Now let's imagine that all the resources from my company are available to your disposal.
Mhm.
And all the knowledge I have about industry for a decade, I can apply to you. Like it's a
Yeah.
synergetic, two brains, one head, getting into it and executing it with the same outcome in mind. And
Yeah.
finding those vendors who wants to commit like that, it's not an easy thing. But my mission is I'm not in here to, we always said, we don't care about, we're not paid for good looking. We're not paid for our effort, for our time, for anything but one word, results. That's
Yeah.
what counts. And results, not in my view what results means, but in person that we are serving. So Referizer is giving your gym a special 90-day free trial of the Reputation Max package. Oh my God. With this, you can get 3 to 10 times more reviews, automate everything, and even use AI to help reply to reviews, all while keeping your gym safe from bad one-star reviews. This offer is only for short time, and it's available for the first 10 listeners of each episode. Go to topratergym.com/3 free months to grab this deal. If you guys are not taking notes, would be good time to drop, park, pull over, grab yourself a notebook and rewind from the beginning because we're just starting. Ben, this is a jam. Tell me more about D1. I can listen about this all day long. So when you spoke about leadership, incredible leadership, everything starts from the head. It starts with inspiration from heart and cross-pollinate through communication through everybody in the company. And either people align or they get out of the train.
Yeah.
Pull forward or get out of my way. But when it comes to hiring, you explained a story that you randomly found person But this is not something we can scale. Randomly finding people. In your hiring process, can you explain how do you do it now? Either when you're looking for franchise owners or for the teammates, how long is the process? How do you do that?
Yeah. So within 45 sports, I'll talk about that. And then I'll talk about the franchise or side of things as far as
Yes.
looking at the franchisee process as well. When we look for staff within 45 sports, Andre, it's a pretty tedious process. So we've actually developed our own company internally, a new LLC, where we actually have a outlined structure and process of what we're looking for, exactly what the values and skill sets of each position that we need are. When we interview those people, again, the interview questions are not based on your resume. The interview questions are based on your character. And again, we really dig into who you are as a person to make sure that we're hiring based on our values and our character, as opposed to the skill set. The skill set, of course, and the lower level positions we can teach, and the higher level positions are secondary to character. Because if you have the character first and the ability second, you're going to crush it. We know that because our product is what we know it's going to be. So we very much hire based on character and values first. And then the abilities, either we can train, or for the higher level operator style positions, again, that is, of course, extremely important, but also very secondary to the character, because the person that has the character will figure out anything that they have in a shortcoming most of the time. Now,
In
as a
Marines
franchise
Corp,
owner,
very
sorry, go
similar
ahead.
things. In Marines Corp, when they are choosing their
Yes,
teammates,
exactly.
they will go trust over skills all day long. Can I trust this
100%.
person?
100%.
Jay
Yeah.
Abraham, one of my favorite marketers, said culture eats strategy for breakfast.
That's right.
It's like that culture, no jerk. You can have somebody who's so smart, but can be a jerk and destroy everybody around.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. And that's such a good analogy, Andre. One of my favorite books that I read very early on in my leadership career was The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. And that book still to this day is one of my favorites for that reason, because I've had both relationships where I've had staff members and bosses that I wasn't 100% sure that I could trust. And it just creates friction where there shouldn't be. And I've also had the opposite, where I've had leaders and I've had employees that I could 100% trust. And it makes it so much easier because it feels like you're on the same team as opposed to being managed or managing. And when you're two people that feel the trust between each other, that are on the same team attacking a goal, it's fun, it's enjoyable. And man, oh man, does it change your view of work, because it allows you to be able to, man, I look forward to Monday morning. I'm ready to attack these goals with my team, because my teammates are, man, they're people I go to battle with. They're the ones that I want to have my back whenever I don't know what to do or where to go, and that's the beauty of finding the people that have the character and the values that you do.
And skills everybody can learn, but there's certain things that we're born with, and that's that character. It's so important. Long time ago, I learned about no jerk. We put in our ad, no jerks. Like we put a cultural value in our ad. One thing I learned as well from reading recently book Gym Launch from Alex Hormozi, pretty great
Yeah.
nuggets inside. And a lot of people ignore the fact that they treat these employees and hiring process as, I don't know, so abundantly. I don't know. You should be treating these candidates as the leads for sales. Because if
Yes.
you think so, A players outside are rare breed.
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 50, 1 out of 100 is somebody who is over delivering all day long, every day, have a heart in it, and it's loyalty and everything. There's only 2 reasons why A players on the market. Either they disconnected from the company, they don't appreciate them, and they stop growing, and there is something there that's pissing off. Right? They rarely get fired, laid out, or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like if the market really crashing, they're the last one to be let go. So they're either looking for the job, or if they're on the market, there's such a short term because they're first available job, they'll grab it. They're interviewing company, not company interviewing them.
Right. Yeah.
Because they are asset. Now, when people are hiring and applicants comes in, and once a week, you check applicants and you start reviewing resumes, you're too late. Has to be speeded down.
That's right.
So it has to be
Yeah.
like, you got to understand as application comes in, right away scan for those A players. If there's something, grab it, interview it, put it
Yeah.
into process. It's a lot of work,
That's good.
but I think
That's
it's
good.
well worth it, because otherwise you just get B players, C players, and nobody else. Those
Yeah.
who applies on 100 places and just sit home and hope not to find a job.
Yeah. I would take it a step further too, as well, Andre. One of the things that I really enjoy doing myself and has really served me well over the course of my career is, I mentioned networking earlier. And networking is so much more than just simply trying to find, who your best partners are, or how to get the next sale, or how to get the next employee. I think networking is more so about meeting people to be able to find how you can best serve others. And so for me, over the years, sometimes the timing is just not right. And sometimes a networking connection will make sense down the road, because to your point, Andre, yeah, the best players typically aren't unemployed.
Yeah,
And so
they're not.
I told the story of me finding somebody earlier at their job. And
Correct. They were not on the market.
no, they weren't on the market.
You literally came and you recruited them, says, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I made a joke about that. Maybe this isn't the best way to do it, but I had an opportunity and I went for it. But I will say,
and I will do it again. Maybe. Yeah.
But I will say, over the years, there's been many, many times that I've been able to just go back to my Rolodex and call somebody and say, hey, I think there's a great opportunity here for you. What do you say? Let's talk. And because of the relational equity I had with that person, I'm able to get them to consider an opportunity. And so I think that's the second half. I think don't just depend on resumes to find your A players. You've got to get out there and you've got to meet people. And that's where finding out two things. Number one, if you truly have a mission to be able to make a difference, then sometimes giving is what you're going to do in these meetings, as opposed to getting a great employee. And over time, as you continue to relationally give over and over and over again, well, when it's time for you to call on that favor, or maybe call someone to be a part of your team, well, if the timing's right for them, the relational equity that you've given will then pay off. And that's one of the things I would advise everybody to do, no matter what your position, how many locations, how many staff members you have, find a way to give, and over time it will come back.
My friend calls it selfishly giving. It makes you feel good when you give somebody.
It does.
Right?
It does.
It makes you feel good when you pay somebody lunch. It's like, damn, it's my time, right? My turn. And it's almost like you're selfishly giving, because it makes you feel good when you give somebody, when you help somebody. It's like when you give, you have more than you need.
Right.
Even if you don't have it, the fact of giving, it makes you feel like I'm more than what I need. And consistently find a way to add value, because people feel that. There was a study about that as well, when the people were just sending simple note for every Christmas to total strangers.
Yeah.
For a long period of time, like for 5, 6, 7 years, every year, total stranger.
Yeah.
And an experiment, send last message, and then there's always some story about it. And the last came up as a message about challenge in their life. Such a significant number of people replied to the challenge, like, how can I help? How can I be there for you?
Wow.
And it was like a letter cost 50 cents to send, and they were literally offering tens of thousands of dollars for helping somebody that they never met.
Yeah.
There's something called reciprocity in our brain. Robert Cialdini talks about it.
That's right.
There's always something that our brain wants to give back. It's stronger than our conscious. It's deep inside of us.
That's right. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you translate that into frontline people? Like, somebody's coming, man. They saw the D1 training. They found this ads. They found this thing. They don't know almost nothing about D1 yet. They found you on Facebook. Your ad agency brought them in on some promo. Because there's so much to communicate, from the core value, from the energy, from the training, from the mission and vision and statement. How do you pack it out to transfer that to new leads, new clients?
Sure. Well, again, I think we can just simply take what we've discussed and then translate that into where we're trying to go with the customer, right? Because when you think about exactly what you just said, I'm trying to find a way to be able to give to the customer what it is that they want or need, right? And what I mean there is, when someone walks in the door, we practice what we call prescription selling. And we call it prescription selling because it's very, very similar to what happens when you go to a doctor's office. The doctor's going to ask you 100 questions to learn about you and then make a prescription based on what you need. And D1 is no different. We're high ticket sales. Our programs are much, much more expensive than most places that you're going to go. And so we have to provide value for you to want to buy. People don't just walk in and spend thousands of dollars on something because they saw an ad. That's not going to happen. And so what we've got to do is we've got to really dig in and ask great questions to figure out what it is that you want and need and why you want it and need it. I can give you a great example myself. So I've got a 10-year-old daughter that plays on a select soccer team and also does competitive gymnastics. She's very athletic. And one of the things that made me buy into D1 is when I walk into the door of a D1 and start hearing about the programming, the person that's selling me the program is not talking to me about how cool the weights are or the fact that they've got turf inside of their facility. It's not about the equipment. It's not about the walls. It's not even about the membership. It's
not
about the
features.
Let's take it a step further. Is it about the fact that they're going to make my daughter faster and more agile and a better athlete to be able to rise to be the cream of the crop on her teams? Maybe, maybe not. But for me personally, it's the fact that through this programming, through what your daughter's going to go through to be able to become a better athlete, she's going to be a more determined person when she becomes an adult. She's going to have more responsibility for herself as an adult. She's going to have more confidence as an adult. She's going to have more integrity as an adult, because these are the things that we teach our kids. How do I say no to that, right? And so
you don't give a crap if this set of dumbbells or is it bench, or you go after true value, and that's core why. Simon Sinek, one of the best TED Talks of all time, start with why. It's described like why people want it. But you discover that through 100 questions. So you cannot just assume and say that everybody is the same. What you said about your daughter is not going to be the same recipe for somebody else. You like your daughter to be determined or responsible or confident, or have integrity. Somebody else wants to say, hey, I want a more calmness because it's too aggressive. Right? I want a more focus because it's all over the place. Some depends on where you want. And this is for those who are listening, that you're struggling to sell the membership for the cheapest and you're trying to go be a differentiator by being the cheapest in the market. It's not competitors. It's not a market. It's not surrounding. It's you. It comes from you. And when you genuinely thinking about, I'm just rephrasing what you are saying. If you genuinely think about somebody and care about somebody, you'll find a way to help them. Michael Jordan, he's the first guy started weightlifting with a personal trainer who had never experienced in personal training athletes at all, especially NBA style. He wrote a book called Relentless. It's an amazing book. And he sold Chicago Bulls one thing, especially Michael Jordan. He says, you will have a longer career. I'll build your muscles. You'll play longer than any other players. And he was young Michael. I was like, how many rings can I put it on? And he delivered it.
That's right.
Right. And, being faster, being more agile, being more things is like, guys, take a notes, because they're not there to lose the weight. What does the losing weight mean to them? Does this mean more energy with the kids? Does it mean more quality spent with the family? Does it mean better relationship with somebody around? Like, why? And unless you ask 3 times, 4 times, why does this mean to you? You come to the real source of the problem. Every parent wants to be proud of their kids. Sometimes we don't. Oh my God. Wow. This is so powerful, brother. This is so powerful.
I love it. It's good stuff.
I love it because you know what? I remember my kid. I took him to a training for basketball and I had a coach for him. He was not just a coach for speed, agility, and a technique. He was it's almost like a second parent to my kid. Because I take that kid and I said, you have to play the league. You have to go and play. And I was like, no, I'm shy. I cannot do it. I'm afraid. It's like, you got to try. And me as a parent, like, I want to shuffle you into the game, And then I told my coach, like, buddy, I have a problem. You got to help me out. Kiddo doesn't want to play the game. Like, says, don't worry, I take care of it. So I tell my kids, says, hey, don't worry about game. I'm not going to ever ask you, but just do me a favor. Ask your coach. Whatever he says, you like him. You listen to him. Don't listen to me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to listen to my coach.
You
10
know,
minutes later, he's coming with the head down. It's like, yeah, I gotta play the game.
I love it. You know what, Andre, you're actually making a point that I was going to make anyway, and I'd like to take it there. What you're saying is the relational equity that you had with that coach, right? That's how that coach is able to hold accountability with you guys.
Yes.
And, I think there's a lot of people listening right now that are thinking about attrition rates and closing rates and lifetime value of their memberships and, usage rates of their members. Well, all of those things will directly be affected by the relational equity that you have with that member. I want you to think about a couple things. Like with D1, I can't tell you how many athletes across the nation have hit personal records inside of our locations or have come back and given us testimonials about the fact that they were able to accomplish their goals with their team or on their team or go to the next level, go to collegiate, go to the pros because of the training that they got at D1. I'm saying all this for a couple reasons. Number one, of course, because there's value in results, as you said, what your company value is with Referrizer. But also number two is I want you to think about attrition and all those things within your business. Well, if I have a relationship with my customer, the person that's been coming in, that's hit 3 PRs in the last 6 months, that is absolutely loving the gym because you're feeling better, you're looking better, which by the way, I know D1 very much is a sports style business, but we are the place for the athlete and we consider anyone that has a goal an athlete. So even mom and dad can come in and train with a personal trainer while their kid is getting trained to be able to be a great athlete, right? So with all that being said, if I've got a great relationship with you and you didn't come last week, well, two things are going to happen. Either I'm not going to call you and eventually you're going to cancel, or with the relational equity that I have with you, I'm going to call you and say, Andre, it's time to get your butt back in the gym. We got to get this going. And because
direct and like a friend.
Yes, because I have that relationship with you, I can talk to you like that. Let's go. Get back in here. And so all of the things that create your business are based on the culture, are based on the relational equity that we have with our people.
So true. It happens to me literally that when my personal trainer where I work out, I have 3 days a week personal trainer, 3 days of group workouts, and I missed it. And I felt guilty, but like, it's just one day, things happen. Message comes up, it's like, hey, everything okay? Right? And when I came back, I was like, man, we gotta make it up for what we missed. He gave me a workout. It's like, and we were laughing. I walked out of the gym like literally all four, like 4-wheel drive. And he's like, man, you cannot miss on me. This is like my life depends on you. Like, damn, we gotta make this happen. Like, and it's such connection of care. He could just say, okay, good, whatever, bye. Like, no, we gotta make it up. I'm not missing on this progress.
I love it.
I know, and it is that community. So going back to introduction of this call, one word, differentiation. It's not just what we say. It's about core. It comes from the heart, comes from the really core, from the leadership, comes from the intention and beliefs, come of the communicating deeply what the company stands for, mission, vision, statement. It comes from really having a process to really implement this. It's consistently across the board, having everybody breathes in the same spirit, really communicating with the same levels. And that takes care of most of the problem. The reason why you have a problem with retention is because you don't have all ducks in a row.
Right.
It's not a price. It's not a market. It's not even competitors. You become competitor they're afraid of. And they think, how the heck are you making it up?
That's right.
Now, this is really critical. D1 is incredible brand. And I know it's growing and you guys have a beautiful mission in the future. But the final thing about this is, a lot of people who wants to be franchisees are looking into opportunity. There's gym owners who wants to transfer their gym. There's athletes who wants to go into these areas. But who is the best franchisee for you? Is it somebody who train inside and become one? Or is it somebody with the money who wants to invest money? Or is it somebody who is operating different gym and wants to transfer to you? How do you find these guys who are really good fit?
Totally. Yeah, the answer is actually none of those, Andre. The answer
I
is,
love it.
look, I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but we operate whenever we look for franchisees the same way when we look for employees, when we look for customers. We've got a layout of what we want and how much money you have to have. And I mean, of course, there's all these steps that you have to take to be able to become a franchisee. But at the end of the day, we've had franchisees that have been just as successful, if not more successful, that have never owned a gym with those that have. Because again, the whole process is based around who you are as a person. And do we want to be in business with you? Because our goal at headquarters is to be a partner for the franchisee. We're here to serve you. Our job is to make your life easier. Our job is to give you the resources to be able to be successful. And that's what I love about our headquarters staff at D1 is everyone on the team has a servant's heart. Everyone is there not to bring the hammer down or make sure that you're working for me. That's not it at all. The franchisor business is set to be able to serve the franchisee, to make sure that when we ask you to hop on a call with us, it's not like, what did I do wrong this time? It's, I'd love to hop on a call with you because I want to know what you guys are up to. Like, what's the next iteration of this? Where are we going next? How are we evolving? I want to hear from headquarters staff. That's the goal. And so that's what I love about this is, there is a very strenuous process to become a D1 franchisee. But what I can tell you is part of that process is you go to headquarters and you experience the team. You're a part of the environment. You take class with other franchisees. You rub elbows with the coaches. You get to meet all the headquarters staff and they toast to you and thank you for coming. And it's so fun. And the culture there is like nothing you're going to see really anywhere else. I just recently got a chance to spend some time over there in Nashville with the headquarters team, and some people were there interviewing for the headquarters staff. And one of the people that was interviewing actually pulled me aside and actually told me that. They said, man, I've been in the fitness industry for decades, and I've never seen a culture like this. This is something else. This is something different. I want to be a part of this. So
they feel it. Sometimes they cannot even describe it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Something similar we did in Referrizer, because I was always one of the hardest working people in any company, any job I was part of it.
Yeah.
And I know I could choose the company to work with, literally.
Right.
And I said, when I start hiring, I said, okay, I want to attract people like myself, like you're talking about. We do hire and we put ads on every platform out there. Sometimes I get 400 applications, 500 applications.
Wow.
But instead of doing interview and reading through it and checking it out, we invite everybody on one webinar. And a webinar attends like 1/3 of them, like 100, 120. Says, guys, this is the way you interview me first. And I ask a question, what is your dream job? Put the questions, put the answers, and I kind of type it out. Like, I agree with every one of those. So this is your filter. How you gonna check me? Do I fit in your criteria? Let's turn the tables around.
Turn the script. Yeah, flip the script.
Flip the script. Totally. Turn the tables. And then I said, for me, all your answers are categorized in 3 areas. What's the company? What's the job? What's the pay? If the company sucks, culture is wrong, leadership is bad, nothing matters. If the company is awesome, right? But your job for yourself sucks, you don't like it, doesn't matter. Yep. And then if both checks off, company and the job, and the money is good, now we have a match. Now we match on your criteria. And then we can proceed later on to see if you match ours so we can have 100% match.
I love that.
And they come out, I was like, whoa. And I was like, come on, drill me with a question. And people will come up and start asking questions. And how about this? What about it? And I bring people who are working in a company to introduce themselves, to see the colleagues. I was like, oh my God, this is like absolutely incredible. And they see popularity for this role. So when they finally get a job being one of 150, they feel like I won.
That's great. Yeah.
It's totally different game. And for us, simplifies the process so much.
Yeah.
I got to show you who we are first before. That's why I invite them. Let me show you who we are. Not guys behind the curtain who collect the money and just don't care. A lot of brands are like that.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they're afraid to do conference, because they believe they'll get stoned. Like, what is going
on? That's right. That's true. That's true. It's so funny.
But I've been meant to conferences where some franchise brands, I can't throw the names, but when literally CEO gets off the stage and people get, ooh, I was like, oh that hurts.
Tough. It's tough. Yeah.
Ah, that's why I love having you here to spread the word of how things are supposed to be done. Hallelujah. So now we're wrapping up. I have two really important questions. You are a leader. You consistently learn. You already gave me one insight in one book, but I want to know, where do you get your knowledge? Where do you continue with your education, and as well how you empower your employees to do the same thing, or your team? So give me some resources. I can use it as a either book or conferences or influencers, speakers, mentors.
Yeah, that's great.
Where do you get your knowledge?
Yeah, for myself, Andre, I mean, I told you before, I'm a networker naturally. And so I believe that there's no such thing as a bad connection. There's always ways for you to be able to learn and grow. The best leaders are learners. And so I personally made a commitment to myself that I will never stop learning. And so I have a rotation of audiobooks. If you guys are a fan of Audible, I'm a huge fan of Audible.
203 titles on my side.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Audible. So my Audible rotation is I actually go through categories of books. So I'll read a book on leadership, I'll read a book on business, and then I'll read a book on my faith. As a Christian believer myself, I'll read something on spirituality, or something that talks about discipleship, something along those lines for my faith. And so I cycle through those styles of books. Number two is, as a person of faith, every single day I read my Bible. And I can tell you what, a lot of the leadership lessons that I've learned over the years, from what I've gained from these leadership books, if I boiled them down, they're biblical principles. So my main source of personal growth is the Bible. And then as far as what's out there, I'm a huge contributor and fan of Club Solutions. They're huge. I'm a part and a fan of Boutique Fitness Solutions. The Health and Fitness Association has their conference. There's so many different opportunities out there. I would say, don't overthink it. Just go. For all of our listeners, just go. Just be a part of the conferences, listen in on the webinars, make connections with other industry people, because again, you never know what a connection could turn into in the future. As a matter of fact, even with D1, I've known Will for years. Will Bartholomew, the founder of D1, I've known him for years before we had an opportunity to work together, because the timing wasn't right. And so that is a perfect example of where a networked connection, someone that knew me said, you need to know Will, and introduced me to Will. We became friends. And then over the years, that friendship turned into an opportunity for us to work together. So there's, again, that's why I say there's no such thing as a bad networking connection, because you never know where that opportunity may serve them, which you're going to have a lot more opportunities the bigger your network is, or may serve you in the future as well.
Whoa. So being resourceful when it comes to being hungry for the knowledge. It's not about what book, it's about mindset, about consistent, never-ending learning. I found recently that when I listen to audiobooks, I listen while I drive, and I can get like one book a week, especially when I go out for a run and so on.
Yep.
But when I read it at night, that 30, 40 minutes read to an hour while listening in the same time, it gets totally different impression. I feel like I'm on a seminar listening to the voice, intonation, energy of the author, and then I can write down the notes while I'm doing this, and I really get to absorb it much better. Richard Branson said, invest in your people so they can leave you tomorrow. Treat them well enough so they don't ever want to.
Yeah, love it.
So be there, invest so they're so good that everybody wants them, but treat them so well so nobody can get them. That's so powerful. Now, as we're coming to wrap up, I want to express deep gratitude, my friend, for everything you shared here with us. I know this is going to be an episode that people will listen multiple times, because it was like, okay, I got to be sitting down and writing some notes, right? Or going to be sharing with my team to say, hey, guys, take a look about what really creates a difference. And if you guys can get one outcome here, it's not a head. The answer is in your heart.
That's right. It
really goes down to the heart, to the belief, and comes really from within, cross-pollinating in your internal beliefs. If you do it for the money, people feel it. If you do it for the love, world feel it. So, Ben, you're incredible value for the whole community. Thank you for being a guest of this podcast. and for sharing your wisdom, and looking forward to staying in touch.
Andre, it's been 100% my pleasure. Let's leave the fitness industry better than we found it.
There we go. For everybody listening, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more valuable content like this. See you, everybody. Bye. If you are a gym owner looking to become a top-rated gym in your area, visit topratedgym.com and grab our free 30-day reputation boost. That's topratedgym.com. I'll add it to the show notes for you. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Stay strong, stay motivated, and keep pushing your gym to the top. Until next time, this is Andre signing off.